Those guys are troopers out there. They run a fresh season this time of year where they work 40 days straight, nonstop, producing fresh turkeys for consumers all over the world.
And I'm guessing that's for the holidays, right?
For the holidays.
That is crazy.
Yep.
It takes 40 days of nonstop production, 40 straight days of nonstop production to
put that supply chain out there that we want.
Just for
hit those numbers. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Wayne County Chambers podcast, For the Record. We want to say a special thank you to our sponsors. Our title sponsor, Sport Durst of Goldsboro, our premier sponsor, Atlantic Casualty Insurance Company, our presenting sponsors, Professional Data Management, Goldsboro Builder Supply, and UNC Physicians Network, and our community sponsors, Butterball and the Housing Authority of the City of Goldsboro. And for the record, we're glad you're here.
Well, hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Scott. Hope you are.
Butterball is in the house. Craig, tell the folks who you are.
Well, my name's Craig Leviner. I'm the complex general manager out at Butterball's Mount Olive facility. I've been there about 11 years. I've been in this current role for approximately 4 years.
4 years. So, and that Mount Olive location is actually in literally Duplin County.
Mm-hmm.
But there's multiple locations. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But
right,
is that right? It's in.
That's right.
Okay.
Our grow out's right here in Goldsboro.
Okay.
Some of the family ownership is right here in Goldsboro. Right. But yeah, we're built out rural right there between Wayne and Duplin County, right there close to the line.
Right. Big facility.
Very big facility.
How big is that facility?
Google will tell you the largest in the nation.
Really?
It will.
Shut up.
That's right. If we Google that, you can fact check me on that one. It will tell you that. It won't mention my name, but it'll say Mount Olive Butterball. We're close to 1 million square feet.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And I had no idea.
Yeah. And then we kill male birds, toms, super toms is the term for those. They're about 45, 46 pounds. So we can do 650 million, 680 million live pounds annually through that plant.
Good gracious.
Yep.
Huh. So many questions I've got, but I want to start with, how did you even end up in this gig? Like, tell me, where are you from? Like, how'd you get here?
So I'm just a country boy from South Carolina. Grew up there. Did a lot of farm work coming up, but not specifically around animal farming. My father had an opportunity to grow his career, moved us out to Mississippi. He was in can manufacturing, made soft drink cans. And I ended up going to college there, playing baseball out there. They decided that wasn't for them, and they moved back. So Dad changed careers, and when he changed careers, he got in the turkey business. He worked with a company called Cuddy Farms out of Union County, North Carolina, off of Highway 74 there, going towards Charlotte. And we can fast forward as time goes by. When I'm at a crossroads on what I'm going to do after college and baseball and all that, Cuddy had a great management training program, and I joined that management training program and worked in live production for several years. I've moved from there into chicken, both live production and later moving into the plant operations, and was able to relocate for opportunity. We moved our family from South Carolina to Alabama, and from Alabama back to Eastern North Carolina, and just moving around. My career kind of took off. Mm-hmm. But we've actually been in Pitt County now 15 years. A chicken company brought me to Eastern North Carolina, but like I said, the past 11 years I've been at Butterball, and so it kind of started my career in turkey. Hopefully we'll end our career in turkey. Yeah. So there's a lot goes into that time, but 34 years in the industry is what I have, and it's been a really, really good thing for me and my family. I mean, it's been sustainable. Yeah. People's got to eat. Yeah. Typically, to go and choose a poultry, turkey. Right. Turkey is a really good option for healthy choices.
Yeah, great lean meat. You know, you can almost never. In fact, I had turkey today for lunch. So I say thank you. You know what I mean?
Good
for the
deal.
Turkey that you produce. And you play golf?
I am a big golfer. I love play golf. Love sports in general.
Yeah.
But
what position did you play in baseball?
So I was drafted as a shortstop, but quickly moved to second base.
Okay.
You start finding out where your head hits the ceiling with the different talent levels out there. You know what I mean? So I played second in college for a while. But
where did you play college ball?
Northwest Mississippi is where I went first, and then transferred to Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Very good. And you say you got drafted?
No. When they did, they drafted me or signed me, whatever term we want to use.
I'm tracking. Tracking.
No, the draft. I knew the draft ideas to the pros was over when he said, "Leviner, I need you to move to second from shortstop." I mean, we started downgrading at that point.
once they have limited your scope, you're like, this is probably not in my future.
That's right.
What about that turkey business?
That's right. I need to get in that training program.
That's good. Well, that's cool. So you end up here, 11 years working, 1 million square feet. Now, I want to dive into that a little bit because you guys are, and, I guess we have Thanksgiving coming up. So obviously, I guess before we even talk details of that, I mean, my simple brain thinks, happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's coming up. Maybe tell me about growing up and your Thanksgiving memories. Like, what's some Thanksgiving memories you had?
So Thanksgiving for me it's about tradition.
Okay.
It's being at mom and dad's with the family, everybody getting together, because you talk about careers, and people moving off. It gets a little harder as you get older to get together, and Thanksgiving is a perfect time to bring all that together. But I think about tradition. I think about the turkey on the table. The Butterball turkey on the table. Right?
We wouldn't have any other kind.
The dressing that mom makes, cranberry sauce, and some people say stuffing, we say dressing. And I'd mess it up if I told you how she made it, but it's a wet dressing. It's not firm where you cut it into the little squares. I mean, you have to scoop this stuff out with a spoon. It's just,
man, you're talking dirty
to me
right
delicious,
now.
right?
Yeah.
I just know that she keeps biscuits like year round, freezes them from leftover meals, and that's what she helps make her base out of. But anyway, I'll mess that up if I tried to tell you any more than that, because that's about all I know, but it's good. Sure. But it's all about tradition, family, togetherness around that. But we're real traditional. We got to have that turkey on the table.
Well, and I mean, that is pretty amazing to think about, that you guys, produce something that is such an iconic anchor for such a pivotal memory bank for so many people.
Absolutely.
With the holiday of Thanksgiving, and what centers around, what centers people up that haven't maybe even been together all year long is the conversations they're having, the fellowship they're having is really over your product.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
And that's what we're known for. I mean, when you see the Butterball brand, I mean, that's a household name. I think I saw a stat where 1 out of 3 turkeys will be on, well, 1 out of 3 Americans, that turkey will be on their table, right? That are celebrating the holiday. And I think that's a big stat, right? So
there'd be more if they weren't intimidated to cook them. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, you think, because like the younger generation, most of them don't know how to cook, right? So they've never cooked a turkey. So like cooking a turkey, I remember the first time we did it, it was the funniest thing. It was one of my favorite memories. But me and my wife, Kristen, we were, anyway, we tried to cook this turkey. And it did not go well. We were like, oh, I see why we haven't done this before. But it just makes me think I bet that number would be much higher if, people were just more accustomed to cooking.
Yeah, maybe. My brother was talking to me today about some options for Thanksgiving. He's got a new pellet grill he wants to try. Ooh. He said, "Oh, they're effortless. You don't have to do anything." So there's a plug for pellet grills and cooking your turkey this year. He says it's just pretty much hands off once you get that going. So I don't know. I'll see it for the first time.
And when you got those pellet grills, apparently all you got to do is just plug them in.
Yeah.
Just let it roll.
He made it sound easy, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So does your plant? Do y'all produce those turkeys? But probably not for the size of animal you're talking about.
Yeah.
Explain the difference there.
Yep. Good question. It's very interesting. So kind of what happens here is the poults, which are the baby turkeys, that's the term, they're hatched here in North Carolina. We sex those out, separating the males from the females, but the males are grown here in this region. And when we get those up to age, we process those at the Mount Olive facility. And we'll make retail and food service items with that bigger bird. We call that the super tom.
What does that mean, retail and food service items? Explain that, because I don't think most people would appreciate what that means.
Okay. So the retail side, if you're going into a Food Line or Walmart, a Harris Teeter, where you shop grocery, and you go to the meat case and you'll see fresh items in the back, we'll formulate turkey parts off of that and make fresh ground turkey lean items, burgers, sausage, things along that fresh line. You'll find stuff in the deli case, branded Butterball items in the deli case that we produce. And then through the food service bank, we'll work with customers like Jersey Mike's, Wawa, Subway, Arby's, just to name a few. We make sliced products for them, deli products for them that they'll make their sandwiches with. So just a lot of different lines. And then through food service distributors, we're doing institutions like schools, nursing homes, places like that. So we touch a little bit of all aspects of supply chain out there for the area.
And 680 million pounds, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
That feeds a lot of folks.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
Sport Durst Volkswagen Mazda of Goldsboro is proud to support Wayne County Chamber of Commerce. Family owned and operated, Sport Durst knows the importance of keeping local money local and supporting the community. We put our customers first with the area's best pricing, best trade-in value, and best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Come experience the Sport Durst difference, where customers and community come first.
Okay, so at your site, you say 1 million square feet, and you're the general manager, which means you're the boss over there.
Yep. I have full responsibility of all aspects of the facility. Yep.
That's a load.
It is.
I mean, that's a very complex job and a lot of moving parts and a lot of things having to occur. Maybe I should ask, what's the hardest part of that job?
I don't know. I got a great team. They are a great group of people that's got a lot of experience, and we got a great workforce out there. We were talking the other day, our retention numbers are as good now as I've ever seen in this industry. We're hiring very few people. People like it out there. We got a good culture. Mm-hmm. We've got a motto. We believe in passing love on, belonging, inclusion, objectives, and people's buying into the culture. Yeah. We changed our culture coming out of COVID quite a bit, where we want to be the employer of choice. We want to do things differently to take care of people than just outracing everybody else. So people want to come to Butterball and want to stay at Butterball. And I think we're getting there. So you say, what's hard about my job? I'm just trying to coach a team, support a team, create that vision, and be there to take all their obstacles out of the way so they can do what they do, which is their stuff. They're the experts who are running those lines, managing those folks, running that equipment, day-by-day operations. So that's what I try to do to keep them. I'm just trying to be the head coach there and call the right play for them, let them execute.
I hear you. You're like the Bill Belichick of Butterball.
Won't go that far, but
well, at least the Bill Belichick of Butterball in Mount Olive.
I do have some Tom Brady superstars out there. I will tell you that they need to get that credit. So
that's true. Well, that's good. So how many people do y'all employ over there?
So we got about 2,600. We're kind of a branch of corporate. So you got some corporate folks that do work in there, like R&D, purchasing, folks like that are part of us. But we probably have about 1,900, what I would say are tied to operational day-by-day functions there.
Now, does that count the number of Wayne County, like the internal to Goldsboro? Or
no, they'll just be at our site.
So tell me the difference between the two sites again.
So in Goldsboro, that office basically now just manages our commercial grow out and our feed mills.
Okay.
We actually sold the breeder and hatchery business unit off a couple years back. So that's mainly what's going. And I'm not exactly sure what the population is for the Goldsboro site, but I can tell you that Butterball is somewhere around 6,600 people strong, all areas to that piece of it. But no, that 1,900, they're not included in that piece.
Yeah, that's a lot of folks. I mean,
it's a small city.
It is a small city.
It's a small city.
I mean, and I'm guessing you're doing small city things at some level. I mean, as far as what you're having to think about. I mean, a lot of times, we talk to a lot of small businesses. We don't always get a chance to talk to sort of, a larger business and having to think about the responsibilities that are kind of associated with that. But I mean, when you're talking about 1,900 people, that's a complex organization.
Yeah.
A lot of layers, I guess.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have to go right. And I guess you recruit from all over. Is that right? Like, I mean, your talent comes from everywhere. How does that work?
Yeah. We've got a great recruiting team. We've got a corporate group that helps us out, but they do a great job on site. They have a lot of job fairs. We've got one Saturday coming up on site out there. I'm sure there'll be some stuff out there on our website and things like that to support that. But I'd say we're recruiting within, I'd probably say within 60 miles, Scott. You'll see people from Greenville driving in. You'll see people from Wilson driving in. But most of them are around the Mount Olive, Goldsboro area. It's probably the largest nucleus of that. But yeah, I'd say about 50 minutes to an hour away. We're recruiting in all those areas.
Yeah, that's wild. And I guess you have the headquarters. You have a headquarters in Garner. Is that right?
Yes, our corporate office is in Garner, North Carolina.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And is that the corporate office for all of Butterball?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
So how far does Butterball reach, I guess, geographically in terms of, because it's such an iconic brand. It's such a global brand even now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that a lot of it happens in North Carolina, and that's wild to think. But, I mean, do you have facilities in other states, or like how does that work?
Yeah, so let's pick up where I left off with those poults. So when those females are sexed out, they actually go on trucks and they go to Arkansas.
Okay.
And the table bird, as we all know it, what we'll all enjoy next week, they do those in Ozark, Arkansas, and Huntsville, Arkansas. Huh. And these guys do whole birds year round. They'll do some frozen birds year round. So it's not just during the Thanksgiving season. Right. But I will tell you.
The ones you can buy in the grocery store that are kind of small batch that you can cook.
14 pounds up. That'll be your hen, your female bird for the table. That's right. You can cook those much easier, by the way. But hey, those guys are troopers out there. They run a fresh season this time of year where they work 40 days straight, nonstop, producing fresh turkeys for consumers all over the world.
And I'm guessing that's for the holidays, right?
For the holidays.
That is crazy.
Yep.
It takes 40 days of nonstop production, 40 straight days of nonstop production to
put that supply chain out there that we want.
Just for
hit those numbers. Yeah. But again, they make whole birds year round. Right, they may put them up frozen, but we call it fresh season.
Fresh season.
And man, that group of folks out there deserve
whatever they get.
Yeah, I mean, it's come on, let's go. And they'll be finishing that up, I think, on Wednesday.
That is amazing.
That'll be their last fresh day.
There'll be some celebrating out there.
Yeah. They do a great job out there. We see stuff on our intranet where they make it fun, right? Because you're working 7 days a week, but they'll have karaoke contests. They have some good food and play some games, and they have a lot of fun getting this done for our consumers. So we really appreciate what they do.
That's great. And I mean, talk about that, the fact that I mean, your workforce is producing for the world.
Yes.
Like, it's one thing to produce for Wayne County. It's another thing to produce for the region. But you guys have a worldwide product and brand. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Every state in the United States we ship to, I think it's 32 countries. And one thing that's really cool is this will be the first year in the UK that we're offering Butterball whole birds. So they'll be celebrating Thanksgiving in the UK next year with our product.
You're welcome. Britain. You know what I mean? Add it to the list of things they need to thank us for.
Yeah.
That's funny. So 32 countries worldwide. You have a global brand. And I guess it's not just what you do, but it is also kind of the longevity of how it's been done. I mean, this company's been around for how long?
Oh, I think the brand name changed, as part of a different brand and brought into the Butterball brand's been around since forever when we were kids, right? Mm-hmm. But the merger here took place late 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy because, I mean, you don't have a global brand without that. I mean, a lot of things have to line up and a lot of things have to go right, but, you have brands that matter because something has had duration and, it's been known for a while. So I think that's so impressive. So you're in 32 countries. Now you guys have impact, and I definitely want to speak, I guess. I mean, I'm sure this is true everywhere that Butterball has a presence, but I want to speak to Duplin County, I guess, and Wayne County. I can definitely speak for Wayne County, but you guys have impact on your community beyond the significant number of people that you employ. Can you just take us through like how you guys see the impact that you have and the different ways that you feel like you impact the community?
Yeah. I really love our relationship with our first responders. When you speak about being in a rural area like where we are, think about if you have an accident or you need somebody. I mean, it can take a while to get those first responders out there to give that care to someone they would need. So we do a lot of training. One good example is hazmat training with our local first responders so they know the ins and outs of the facility. So we want to continue to partner with them. I think that's very important for the safety of our area, but the safety for the general community. Yeah. There's a lot that people around the community of the Mount Olive plant can learn from that and gain from that.
Sure.
Also, education. We want to continue to be partnered with that, continue to support that piece of it as we grow, because education is going to be very important to the people that work at the facility. And sustaining that as we go forward.
And see, and right there, just for a second, I mean, I think people sometimes underappreciate, like when they think, I guess maybe even myself for a number of years, I assumed like when a company makes a contribution or supports efforts related to things like education, it's just like it's just an area that they kind of were interested in, and so they give money to a charitable cause, and that is true. But it is more than that. It's a real investment that you hope will benefit your employees, right, and their families,
right,
so their kids can be better educated, and it becomes a better place to live.
That's right.
And when you're investing in those schools and invested in education, you know, where your employees are and where they live, it makes the community better for everybody that lives in it.
That's right.
And so I always want to clarify, because I think even people who are maybe tied into the community or maybe or maybe more involved in the community still don't fully appreciate the impacts that companies like yours has when it does choose to get involved in the way that it gets involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll also continue to do apprenticeships with our local colleges. We've had some good success at Wayne Community College.
Yeah.
I'll be
shout out Apprenticeship Wayne.
That's right. We've done some work at Mount Olive, and we'll continue to do those programs.
Shout out UMO.
There you go.
Agribusiness
as we go forward with that. So, and then continue to work with folks like you guys here at the Chamber.
Yep.
Just partnering up with people, working together in the community, and trying to do our part.
Yeah.
And because if we make our communities and our neighborhoods great, it's going to make our people better. Our people are going to help us grow our businesses.
Yeah. And I think it's wild. First of all, we appreciate very much how you have partnered with us at the Chamber. And I think that sometimes people because people like to complain about all kinds of things these days, but people complain about corporations. And I think they should really be more cautious, because I think that they maybe sometimes don't appreciate what corporations actually do, especially corporations who care. And corporations who say, you know what, we don't just live here, we don't just make money here, we employ people, but we don't just employ people. I mean, there are things that would not exist were it not for corporations like Butterball. And I hope that maybe if people hear this, they can appreciate the fact that, man, we ought to be so proud to have an organization like yours, a business like yours in this community. And I'm sure nobody's perfect. And if you went to any of these small businesses or medium-sized businesses, it'd be the same thing. But my goodness, the good that is done, through what you guys do. I mean, first, you execute a very good business, or you would never be able to do anything, right? But because you execute a great business and you have great products, you have a strong brand, it permits you to change lives. Right, it fuels people's lives in a way that, like your own, right, for 11 years, and so,
absolutely.
So you said education, and then the Chamber, and so, I guess there's all kinds of folks out there that are better off because Butterball exists. Isn't that what you'd say?
I would agree.
Yeah. And y'all care about that a lot. I know I've talked to you many times and you've said that. I mean, and well, what do you think of going forward? I mean, like, how does this look? I mean, Butterball is already big. So, you know, what happens? I mean, I guess maybe I don't know that you know about Butterball at large, but maybe in this region, like what is on Butterball's radar? There's been some transition over the last couple of years in terms of the business and how it's shaped here. You still do all those things. I mean, all those things still occur, just happens with different people wearing different hats maybe. But like, how do you guys look at that when you sit down and you're thinking strategically about where you are and the facility that you lead? Next 5, 10, 15 years, what do you see on the horizon?
Yeah. I think, we want to look at how we can continue to be a player in the food market and have that edge amongst all of those, be better. We don't have a lot of expansion detail that we'll be able to speak to at this point in time, but just being innovative in the things we make. We have a great marketing team that has a great strategy, just coming up with different products, things that we can make. Because, one thing we didn't talk about, we talked about the turkey, but when you really think about what Mount Olive does, we're trying to be that everyday table bird with these other items, such as ground turkey, sausage, burgers. What are these other things that we can come out with different flavors, different slices, different cuts to make you want to eat turkey July on a Tuesday night? You know what I mean? Instead of just Thanksgiving Day.
In the summer,
That's right. So we want to continue to look into those avenues and see how we can continue to keep our brand out there in front of everybody else throughout every season and every month of the year.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting, I guess, to think about all the different ways that turkey could be imagined.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what keep it going.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous because I like turkey. And I like to think about ways that you could eat turkey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So who wouldn't like that? That'd be good. So I guess a couple of other questions. These are maybe leadership related. You manage 2,000 people. That's a lot of people. And you talked about the great people that you do lead. I mean, what have you learned about people management? What have you learned about relationship that you think would be useful? Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that may listen to this and they lead their own organizations. But I'd imagine that you've learned a thing or two over the 34 years of your career. What are some things that you think are transferable, kind of non-negotiable, just maybe critical things you've discovered that if you were to talk to your younger self or another leader like me maybe and say, here's some things you probably need to pay attention to?
Yeah, the biggest thing is one needs to quickly identify that their workforce, their people, that frontline team member is the most critical asset of that facility. It's not me. It's not the leader of that facility. It's not supervision or leadership. You can't run anything without those people. And I think if you look at me, I'll speak about me 30 years ago, it was about me, right? I was trying to grow my career. I was trying to do the next best thing and make sure somebody saw what I was doing. Quickly realize when you get into larger facilities and even small, I don't care if you got 3 employees or 2003. What somebody does for you as an employee is important. And you can't get anything done without those folks. And we got to continue to show that we appreciate them. We got to continue to take care of them. And everybody's going to be trying to do the same thing. It's going to get real competitive out there in the marketplace. It's not always about pay. It's about taking care of people, having a good culture and a good place to work where people want to get up every day and go out there. So for me, it's all about people, number one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And what motivates you still? Because you're 34 years working, my guess is you're in what quarter are you in?
I'd say I just started the fourth quarter for sure. I don't know. I don't have a date, but I still got a long time to go as long as Butterball have me. So I need to plug that while we're doing this. But I don't know, man. I got probably 10 more years to go.
So what motivates you? You wake up in the morning, you're in the thick of it.
I am still competitive. I I just got a competitive nature to win. Butterball's, Mount Olive's a big plant, and there's something to drive that competitiveness on a daily basis. It's just a big place, right? So there's a lot going on. So it keeps the blood pumping every day. But I love managing people. I love leading people. And in my role now, I'm in a position where I have educated folks. I have some of the best folks in the industry, and it's nice to sit on the side of the table now and you just confirm what they already know, or just have a conversation with them about where they may be stumbling a little bit. But a lot of times my folks have the right answers. They just need a little bit of guidance or a little bit of assurance. And I'm just so appreciative to be in a role where I can provide that with my experience at this particular time in my career.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's heck yeah. So, and if you get to do that for the rest of your days, that's pretty cool.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. How fortunate,
Yep.
Well, this Thanksgiving, we wanted to just be sure that people knew that we had Butterball right here in our yard. I mean, and that's no small matter. And so while folks are enjoying their turkeys this Thanksgiving, hopefully they're Butterball turkeys.
That's right.
Special shout out to you guys. And we want to say that we're thankful for you. So thank you for what you and your team does. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Scott. Glad to be with you.